What's going on, guys? I'm Brooks from Big Number One Motorsports, and I want to tell you a couple things about the new 1250. And what I really want to cover is what makes the new 1250 different from the 1200. I'm sure y'all have done a little bit of research and realized, like, yeah, they've bumped it up in CCs. Well, there's a lot more actually to it than that. The shift cam technology really has let them add a little bit more power, a little bit more torque. But what is super impressive about this here, and they've taken it, people say that they're planning for the next Euro 5, and I think they're right. You can make more power. You're going from 125 horsepower to 136 is what BMW rates it at. I've actually seen a dyno that pushing about 132, 133, which is really impressive over no more than they've actually bumped this up. And they're pushing about 105 foot-pounds. Dynos I've seen 102, 103. Still really good from what they used to. But the most impressive part about that is they've kept the emissions dead even. Now, what Euro 5, basically all your emissions tests and everything else, they judge, or excuse me, they read how oxygen, fuel, and everything else through the O2 sensors in the exhaust system. Now, this bike, if you put it on the dyno and read those fuel levels and everything, right exactly where the Euro 5 readings and classifications and everything are, it's perfect, flawless, all the way through the rev range. It's insane. Plus, this, you think boxer, you think, yeah, torque, but you think big V-twin, you think real torque, right? This thing's making more than my Multistrada torque-wise, and doing it being more fuel efficient. The new motor is really, really impressive. On top of the shift cam technology, and I'll explain that here in a minute how all that works as it gets kind of technical, but some of the other stuff that you get with this bike that you probably will never even notice unless you've read about it. Most of you BMW guys, any kind of guy really that is with motorbikes, adventure bikes, electronic steering, electronic suspension, electronic ride modes, all that kind of stuff, you're probably fairly aware of what dynamic ESA is. Well, on the new bike, they have what they call next generation dynamic ESA. It works the same as the old bikes did, where you can adjust the damping and preload for passenger if you have a run up with luggage, two up, or just yourself. Well, you had to go and select that through the gauge cluster on the previous bikes. Not anymore. This bike will read where you're at, weight-wise and everything else, and adjust itself. It actually just does it on the fly. You don't even have to tell it to do it. It's actually really, really impressive how it works, but not only does it do preload, which is just the weight of the passenger back here, kind of keeps things what you don't have to, hey baby, what you weigh? How much luggage we got? That conversation's out the window. The bike does that for you now. But on top of the preload, it will actually adjust the damping literally on the fly. It's not a fully active system, it's a semi-active system, but still it works on the fly. If you get into any kind of trouble, quick direction changes, you're bearing off in a corner because you now learn this bike will handle just about as aggressive as you want to, it will adjust the damping for you, just by itself. It's actually really, really impressive. Another thing they've added to this, and some of you are going to go, really? Other guys are going to go, that's a pretty dang good idea, especially if you're out really playing in traffic, out there being a road warrior, having to act like you're invisible. Panic stops are panic for just about any of us. Whether you've been riding for 20 years or you've been riding for 20 minutes. They can be difficult, especially on a bike this size. You get that much weight kicking around. While this bike is better balanced than most because of the way that the motor is made, panic stops can get funky. I can't remember the last time I did this, and I probably should. You learn from it if you do, but they have what they call dynamic brake control on this. Now, it took me actually a little while to figure exactly why and what that does. And it's actually really impressive. If you get panic mode, you're full blown, all right, I'm here, I'm going wherever I need to go, especially if you're going forward. Most people, you lurch forward and everything starts to slow down. When you try to compensate for that, you twist the throttle. Some do, some don't. Subjective, but it's happened before. Now, the dynamic brake control will actually remove that throttle input. When you're heavy on the brakes and the bike senses you're now in a panic stop situation, it will actually stop the throttle input to add brakes where you need them, instead of having to fight the torque of the engine on the rear tire. You're getting full brakes, front and rear, because it completely cuts out the throttle. That's pretty intuitive, that's pretty safe. It's BMW quality for sure. All right, I said I was going to tell you about how the shift cam technology works, and that's what I'm going to do right now. All y'all know, 15, they made the heads water cooled, rolled everything around, made more power, made the engine run more efficiently, gave you more leg room, which is really nice because you don't have the intake on it right here. But these are outside cams. They're right here. If I take this off, you're looking at 2 camshafts. All right. Exhaust is on the bottom, intake is on the top. Now what shift cam technology does is there's a little actuator right here. And the shift cam is only on the intake cam, just FYI. There's a little actuator down here. You've got 2 lobes per valve. 2 lobes per valve. And this little bitty root right here. You got 2 channels on the outside of this camshaft. There's an actuator down here that pops up these little pins. And what those pins do, we'll put it in a low profile basically, which is your smooth, fuel efficient power mode, and make the throttle response nice and just having a leisurely day out at the park. But when you whack on it real quick, what that will do is pop up this other pin and the cam literally shifts about a ½ inch over this way. There's a little axial interlock right here and it moves it all the way out here. Now that puts it on the aggressive cam. Now you got access to your full 136 and 105, and the motor comes alive. It's actually really, really impressive. But what amazes me is the accuracy that you need to make that happen. It's crazy. You think, all right, you got a motor's, let's see, 10,000 RPMs, just for a good round number. Camshaft's pulling 5, half RPMs, right? 5,000 times that thing is rotating. You whack on it. In a split second, it's got to go without tearing the whole damn thing apart. It's amazing. Little bitty channels between each one and a little bitty actuator over here. That's all you need. And BMW has accomplished a feat trying to make the last bike better. This one's better. It's really, really better. I appreciate y'all watching. My name's Brooks, Big Number 1 Motorsports. If you have any more questions whatsoever, you can call myself, 205-942-3313. Ask for Brooks, B-R-O-O-K-S, that's me, or any other BMW specialist. I might be mad if you do, but, it's all fine. Appreciate your business. Hope to see you soon.